Hi everyone, I'm Siva here from the LOA Center, also representing Club MINDA over here in Malaysia. Very excited to be here. The reason why I wanted to have this conversation with a dear friend of mine, Gayatri Pillay, is because with this pandemic going on and on and on and on and on, a lot of people are actually getting exhausted. I spoke to one of my professor from psychology from USM and also into sports. He said there's three parts of it. Is basically we need to there will be an alarm, that's a trigger, and then how we adapt to the trigger, and then if we don't adapt well, we get into exhaustion. So I'm actually getting a lot of a lot of people talking about COVID. When I used to do training, people when I ask them what is the COVID number, they can tell the COVID number clearly. But when I ask them what is your productivity number, they are actually thinking they don't know where the yield is, how's their performance, and all that stuff. So wanted to have a conversation with a group of people today. I'm having this conversation with Gaya. This is revolves around how do you bounce back from sickness, right? A lot of them are talking about COVID. There's a lot of fear, and later we're going to talk about fear and the pandemic with Gaya in a while. So let me first just share with you how do we fall sick. There are four ways that we actually fall sick. Number one, we get injured. So if we get injured, we can get our blood infected and all that stuff. So we can get sick. The second one is basically malnourishment. So starvation and all that. Last time we used to have scurvy, beriberi, and all that stuff. So that is another way. If you don't have enough nutrition in your body and all that. The third one is basically poison, toxins. It can come from the air, water, food, electromagnetic, so whatever, right? It's just the environment and the things that is influencing us. And the fourth one is basically mindset. So now the reason why I wanted to have these conversations, number one, is basically if we can find for each one of it, the main three things that we're going to focus on, I'm going to just exclude injury because that one you have to take care, stay safe. The rest of it basically, I want to talk to experts and people who know and have been putting themselves in their own as an experiment tool in order to understand some simple hacks on how we can increase our immune system, because I think immune system is something that we need to focus on rather than being afraid. The virus is everywhere. That's what I believe. It's everywhere. We can't see. It's everywhere. I'm wearing face mask. I'm not wearing face mask. It's there doing its work. The only thing that is keeping me away or keeping me healthy is basically my immune system. So I need to talk about that. So today I have my dear friend, amazing personality, Gayatri Pillay. I'm going to read profile. It's exciting how she has grown from the time that I've seen. Actually, she shrunk. Actually, she shrank. That's the most important thing. She didn't grow, but she grew as a person. Okay. Later she can talk about it. So she's a trained yoga and nutrition and also wellness coach. She has many clients in Malaysia, Singapore, USA, Canada, India. Truly international, exciting. Now she had a history of being obese. That's the reason why I said she shrank. Right? She also understands from where how it was affecting the mental health. So she decided to make a difference to herself. Self-care is the most important thing. So she actually put up some videos, free contents out there. I know the beginning, how it started, and people started watching, and how she was transforming with a channel called Get Fit with Gaya, right, Gaya? Right? So Get Fit with Gaya. It's an amazing platform. So initially the numbers were small, and then it started building up. People were actually watching, and some amazing things happened. Now fast forward now, it's not very long ago actually. It's around a year plus ago, and then now Gayatri was key
Two and a
to
half
two and a
years.
half years. Wow, that's woo. Gayatri was key to the running of the first ever virtual weight loss campaign in Malaysia under the aegis of Ministry of Health in 2020. Congratulations, that's amazing. She's also a member of NGO Pertubuhan Pencegahan Obesity Kanak-Kanak dan Dewasa. Now, aside from these, she also teams up with corporate companies. And now she's been running talks, workshops, and classes for big organizations like CIMB, Headquarters, UMW, Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission, AirAsia, Dutch Lady, and many more. She was also featured in TV. She was in RPM, Astro Avani, and Sina Harian. When you follow your passion, things happen. So please help me to welcome Gayatri Pillay.
Oh my
Gaya.
gosh, that sounded so surreal. When someone else is reading it, I'm like, is that me?
It
But
is,
thank
it
you so
is.
much. Thank you so much for having
Yes,
me, Siva
yes.
and the family of LOA. I've been I've been with them for many years. Actually, we kind of got to know each other, and now it's nice to know that they are friends of the family as well. And so, thank you so much, Siva. Yes, you've
Brilliant.
definitely been there from the start.
Yes.
Seen it all.
Yes, it's an amazing journey. Thank you for taking part. I'm very indebted, for being in this space to have this conversation. So before we go deeper, I just read the profile from your heart. Please share about yourself. Quick intro about yourself. What would you like to say to the audience?
Well, what I would like to say to the audience is that I'm just an average 30-year-old Indian girl in Malaysia who's just trying to live a happy life. That's it. And
Hmm?
nothing too complicated. I mean, just to share, yeah, I mean, the bio and the profile sounds so amazing, even when I'm hearing it. But the behind the scenes of that was a lot of consistency of working towards what it is that you truly connect yourself with. But just to share, my past life, as I would call it, is that I'm actually a trained interior architect and a photographer. So I did that close to 7 years, 7 to 8 years actually. And then this whole Get Fit with Gaia just kind of found me. Instead of me looking for it, it found me, and it's been a blessing ever since. So I'm just a regular girl who decided to who realized that I did not find someone like me who's South Asian, South Indian. Particularly when I talk about South Indian, I'm talking about the southern part of India, being represented in a very large scale, whether it's in social media or whether it is content in terms of wellness, fitness, um, in the whole world, in the internet. There aren't many. And mostly when I was looking for someone to say, what can I do as a Malayali girl who loves her idli and doshas and sambars, and and how can I live a healthy lifestyle and ensure that I feel good physically, emotionally, mentally, and there weren't many. And so I thought that when I decided to carve this path and learn along the way, which is why it started off as Gaia Gets Fit, where I cataloged and journaled this entire journey every single day. Not one day I didn't, every single day in the last 2.5 years. And then when CMCO hit, I had the confidence to say that it's time that you get fit with me. And I decided to elevate it, and which is why this year, particularly in March onwards, it became as Get Fit with Gaia. And so when I talk about fit, I'm not just talking about the physical, because when you think about food, Siva, when I say the word food, the first thing that comes to your mind perhaps is your favorite food or something you just ate. Because food is so diverse, right? But when we say the word fit, the first thing that comes to mind more often than not is a fit physical body. That's it.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be fit. When I say I want to be fit, chances are they're referring it to on the physical aspect. And so one of the things that really drives me, like how you're all about law of attraction and the reset, which is such amazing initiatives, which I've also seen grow. I really, really want to change the mindset of the word fit. That if I say I want to be fit, that not necessarily has to be from a physical perspective. So the stuff that I put up online, whether it's on Instagram, Facebook, and now apparently YouTube as well, which I'm still working on, it's stuff to just kind of embody that from a South Indian girl's point of view, and to know that I understand how it feels like being, whether it's being a Malaysian, whether it's being an Indian girl. How can we battle these issues, which are so common and very much seen in our day-to-day living among people? So that's me, kind of in a nutshell. Regular girl in my
Lovely.
30s. So yeah.
Well, not that regular of the things that you've been doing. Very impressive. Keep going, Gaya. You know, it's amazing. So let's go into today's topic. Today we're going to talk about
Sure.
nutrition. But before that, it all started off because of this CMCO and the pandemic. Even telling COVID-19 in social media itself, sometimes it's a taboo, where some people get banned for talking about
Yeah.
the COVID-19 itself. So let's just keep it to pandemic then. Now,
Sure.
the whole idea about talking about this is people are fearful. What's your take? You know, it's been what, since March now, it's what, around 8 months of doing or this pandemic thing that's happening
Yeah.
with the numbers. It's like stock market. We are every day
You check every day,
we are
five
checking
o'clock.
every day 5 o'clock. You know, the DG is doing an amazing job. You know,
Yeah.
of putting people together. Hats off to him.
Yeah.
Now the thing is, what's your take on this? How do you feel? Your emotional level? How let's talk about this pandemic for a while. What's your take on this?
Well, if I'm being very honest with you, Siva, I mean, just for the audience as well, when I decided to start this journey about 2.5 years ago, um, this is when I was consciously doing it. Of course, unconsciously, there were a lot of things that were happening on the background that let me make a conscious decision to start this journey of getting fit mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. So, when we talk about the pandemic, particularly, I find that a lot of us are going through a very, very difficult time, and we are all being challenged. We're all being challenged in different ways. Some of us, perhaps, whether it's in our career, whether it's with our physical health, emotional health, something or other, every single soul on this planet is being challenged. And there is a reason to it. We just don't know it yet. The jigsaw puzzle isn't clear, but I choose to believe that it will be clear in years to come. It might not even be in this lifetime. And I choose to believe as well that the universe knows best. Mother Nature knows best, and I take comfort in that. And because I guess I've gone through various challenges in my life, maybe I'm a little bit more hardier. I've gone days where I've not earned a single cent. I've gone days where I am literally trying to survive and get out of bed if I can. So I know how difficult it can be. And so the pandemic actually for me was a blessing. Even though my career didn't lift off because those projects didn't happen, but I choose to see what are the things that I have. And if we really choose to see what we have, chances are we have a lot more than other people, right? And so for me, the pandemic was actually a blessing because I got to spend time with my partner a lot more because his work is so demanding that he works really long hour shifts as a head chef at Nadodi. And so for me to have that bonding time 24/7 with him was a good test run to test our relationship out and do simple things that we do on a daily basis or with my family, my parents. But I know that everyone at home was being challenged in one way or the other. Whether there were emotions that they needed to sort out, stresses, that stuff maybe we put under the rug that needed, because you're at home, you have the time. And so people were coping, different people in the family were coping differently. So for me, particularly for me, the pandemic has been good because I took it as an opportunity to say maybe those really amazing projects that were supposed to kick off in March, which perhaps I felt would launch me this and that, all came crashing because that was almost a year of working hard to get that going and to know that it's not going to kick off and nothing at all. I said, okay, never mind. It's okay. You've been through worse. You can get through this too. And so I chose to, and I very clearly remember, Siva, it was a week before the MCO. And because the community that I've built online, small, but it's, growing every day, they asked, can you do some I said, would you like me to do a class on IG? I asked 1 week before the pandemic hit, where we were on lockdown. That time, virtual classes were not even a thing. Okay, very rare. And they said, yeah. So I said, okay, every Sunday I will come on. And I swear to you, that was on a Saturday or something. And then the COVID 18th was on a Wednesday or something on March. And then every single soul was on virtual. And I swear to you, it felt like a calling, like just before. And then everybody's life changed like that. Everyone realized that, hey, we can think out of the box. Hey, we can do things out of the box, which will increase productivity, which will allow you to perhaps look at what you do differently. And I guess the entrepreneurial mind in me set in very quickly to say, okay, what can I do? And so I said, okay, I'm not going to be paid because none of the studios are open, but I'm going to choose, and I choose to stay and have joy in what I do, because that's something I share with you, right? I have a theme every year. So the theme for 2020 was joy for me, because I stopped putting targets and goals, and I stopped that about 4 years ago, because I did everything and I was still miserable. And so I said, I'll have a theme and make my decisions based on that theme. And I just told myself, the CMCO, I just got to be happy. But the funny thing was, when you choose a theme like joy, you will only feel full joy if you don't have anything under the rug that you've swept. And so I had to sort out a lot of emotional issues that apparently were still lingering around. And when I started to sort that out, joy was coming a lot more easier. If you ask for something, you also have to be ready to receive, right? And you also say that. And so even though I said, okay, this is my intention, this is how I want to feel, this is how I choose to behave and be for this year, but I can only fully do it if there's space for it to happen. And so I took the CMCO and the MCO then to sort that out. But I really just enjoyed staying at home. I'm grateful that I have a lawn, so I was not confined to four walls. So it's been good for me.
Amazing. That's awesome. See, how you took it is basically, it is not easy out there, but you saw the glass as half full. But the statistics, however, shows the other way, right? Depression has gone up as people are being suicidal sense when it comes to financial situation is tanking in. So it's interesting. I like when you said one of the things is you are counting blessing. Gratitude is amazing, keeps you in the now. And joy is amazing, your theme for the year. And I like, my guru, Michael Logier, one of my gurus in my journey. There are quite a few who played a very pivotal role in my life, and Michael Logier is one of the person that I would salute as a guru also. He always says, joy is always it's within. We've been buried it with layers of negativity. Just by addressing it and by peeling, he calls it peeling the onion. You peel it off,
Yes.
joy just naturally comes up. So that's why his book is about just getting the negatives out. You'll be happy, right? So it's just amazing to know that you are living a wonderful life in the times where many people are having difficulty. It's not to say that it's good or bad, it's right or wrong. There's only cause and effect, and the numbers on the effect shows that depression has gone up, anxiety has gone up, and all that. Not only in Malaysia, in on the whole world. Now,
Yeah.
depression is closely related to our guts, right? Depression,
Yes.
when people are depressed, they sort out for eating. They go and eat, and they like to eat sweet stuff because with carbohydrate, you get serotonin secretion. Yeah, once the food goes in, you will get very excited. Feeling really excited, like the 2 seconds we were telling Gaya. And then after a while, this flood of guilt feeling that comes to us, telling that, I should be losing weight and all that stuff. We know that is very important because there's a lot of microbiomes. They say that's a second brain.
which is closely related to our immune system also. So I would like to talk to you about, because you have got your certification done in nutrition, and I know you've been cooking food. I know the way you eat. I know that you have actually got your weight down, and not only your weight, you have actually been helping people to do that. And one of your
Yes.
main thing, and with your partner, is basically is about food. So let's talk about that.
Yeah.
How does nutrition, food, can increase your immune system?
So so for me particularly, when I support clients or so, and just to kind of make it clear, I tell them that nutrition with me is just not nourishing the body through food, but it's what you see. Using all five senses plays a very important role. And when we do nutrition, I'm also finding ways on how we can nourish your mind, how we can nourish your soul. But when we talk about food, I am a true believer that Mother Nature has all the resources that we need. The unfortunate thing is that we live in an instant world. We live in an instant world that if an internet connection goes off for just a couple of seconds, you're like, okay, our life pauses, or like, I'm loading and the notification is not coming, or like even Maggie's instant, even healthy food is instant now. And so when I was in the ashram, when I chose to live in an ashram for a month, just I just did that, and it was actually very good because I really truly understood about food. And so, like you said, what I do online particularly is I try to show you food that are very colorful. Food colors play a very important role. Each color gives you different benefits, right? And so when we talk about the gut, particularly, you're right. It is the second brain. There was a study by a doctor, I forget her name. Her son had one of this, I think was it ADHD or one of this, and she found that when she gave him sufficient probiotics, he was acting a lot more normal. Again, definition of normal is subjective, and because if we were to feel anxious, right, when the mind is feeling anxious, your tummy reacts. When you're excited, you're nervous, your tummy churns, right? And so they always say that apparently, when you are being formed in your mother's womb, the layer that creates your intestines is very similar as the brain, and they are formed around the same time, if I'm not wrong. And so that is why they say my gut says, because this and this relates. And so the health of the gut can also determine the health of your mind and the health of your body. And so one of the things that I ensure that is, and there are, like myself, I because of the various stresses that I had in my life, I had to do a stool test, the most expensive stool test that I've spent in my entire life, to find out that I did not have any micro organisms growing in my gut. I had zero. So it's like, even if I were to take probiotics, there is no bacteria for it to feed from. And so I had to do a whole cleanup in that front. But for an average person, if you were to ensure that you have fibrous food, colorful plates daily would be a great start. Yogurt, and now the fancy thing is kombuchas. The fizzy drink that hits the spot, but you just want to make sure it's not so high in sugar. These are some alternatives to allow you to be able to sort your gut out. But more importantly, because I come from a yoga background as well, I like to do a lot of twisting asanas. So when I teach detox yoga, there are three aspects. You talk about balance, you talk about twisting, and you talk about breath. So why do we say twisting? It's because, see, when you are, imagine you're washing clothes, okay? You always squeeze it, right? To rinse the excess water. And so that is exactly what will happen in your internal organs. Now, your body is already naturally detoxing itself, but what you want to do is aid and assist that a little bit further. And so when you do poses that allows you to twist, you're actually, so when it's twisting, it tells the body, hey, we need more blood flow here. And so when you're not twisting, more blood comes into those organs, which will secrete the things that it needs to secrete. So, but from a food point of view, definitely, I mean, you talk about immunity. Eating as close as you can to Mother Nature is the key. We're very smart these days. We tell them we have banana. I mean, I am with a chef. He will make that banana into all kinds of dishes. And I'm like, listen, the banana is given this way. Let's not over smart the banana. The banana knows the Mother Nature gave it to you in this form.
Yes.
Don't go and be so fancy and decide it needs to be like this, it needs to be like that. And that's what's happened with us with food, you know. I give you another example. When we talk about food, right? We when you talk about vegetables, okay, let's keep it to Indians, right? Have you eaten an Indian food, okay, like your veggies, that you don't taste the masala? You will taste the masala and the onions and all of that and the nice sambal base or whatever, but not the vegetable as the vegetables taste. And so that's
True.
what's lacking. That's what's really lacking. But can you season it in an Indian way and put it out? Of course you can. That can be done. And so what is happening? You say, yeah, I'm eating healthy, I'm eating and all that, but it is nicely overcooked. When it's overcooked, here we believe, whether it's Ayurvedic or whether with me at least, I call them dead food. That means it's like you're not charging yourself, right? If you take a cable, right, if you want to charge your phone, you want fast charging, you better eat food that is alive, that is bright, that is colorful, because food is nourished from the sun. The sun is the source of energy. And so if you nourish the food well, that's what's going to be going into your body to give you the energy. Your gut will be sorted, your overall health will be sorted, as well as your mental health. And so if your food is overcooked and is kept in the fridge more than 5 hours and you eat it the next day, you're eating dead food. And so I mean, I wish I could find a less harsh word, but it is dead. And so when it's dead, you feel like that as well, because it's not nourishing you enough. So it's like when you're charged at 20%, right? If you want to operate at 100% charge, I would say eat as close as you can to Mother Nature, the way she has made them. So that would be my, nutrition is key. Yeah.
That's cool. You see, I like what you just said, because close to Mother Nature. So banana need to look like banana, not like banana fritters, right? So it's just a lot of
Banana
oil
split,
and
come on.
split and all that stuff, you know. Yeah, so it's really, really. I like what you said. Uh, Food and sun, they're closely related. Obviously, there's photosynthesis and all that. So I have a question for you, Gaya.
Sure.
So I've been hearing that we should eat before the sun goes down.
Yeah.
And there's because of one of the relationship is basically it's the sun, right? Food,
Yeah.
sun, Mother Nature, and all
Yeah.
that stuff. So is that true that we have to finish eating before the sun sets and all that stuff? It's just, I want to know also.
Okay, so I'll be very honest, Siva. You want the Western way or you want the Eastern way?
I want the one that gives health.
Which time zone?
The equator.
Equator. Okay, so
Yes.
this is where I stand. Okay, so I'm not saying that if you don't do this, it's wrong. No. So first and foremost, we live in the city. We live in the concrete jungle. We don't live in the jungles. We're not surrounded by nature enough, right? Unfortunately, that's the case. The idea here is that your body has its own rhythmic cycle. And if you can keep to the rhythmic cycle, it is the best, so that you're able to function at the optimum when you wake up all the way till you sleep, which is why they say you should be in bed by 10-ish, because your system needs to rest so that it can repair, because apparently the repairing phase is like midnight or something like that, which will allow you to be all fully charged and ready for the next day. So if you go to like the Sattvic world, or if you go to the eastern side of India and all those kind of stuff, of course they will say, try your best to eat following the sun. Because you want to, it's not so much as the sun, but try not to eat so late. So what the Westerners have done is they said, as long as you eat, so if you're looking to lose weight or whatsoever, they'll say, as long as you eat your calorie amount, you're good, right? You can still eat a couple of hours before you go to bed or whatsoever. But I look at it from a science point of view, and as well as because I'm a South Indian girl, I choose and I know that the body, even though it's a powerful machine, we should not abuse it. Even though if you eat 2 hours and go to bed, the body will still make sure it works. But we got to do our part that we don't abuse it always. So we need to ensure that when we have our last meal, you give the body a minimum of 4 hours for it to fully digest. That's the rule of thumb that I generally give. So because everybody has work, maybe they only come back at 8 o'clock. It's not possible maybe for them to have their meal at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock or whatsoever. So I would say just make sure that if the rule of thumb is about 4 hours, so you don't go to bed feeling bloated, because you don't want to go to bed and feel that the body is only going to be focusing on digesting food. It has other parts of your body that it needs to focus and ensure that you are keeping healthy and well.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. And I find that it's a very simple rule of thumb that one can apply. And it might be foreign for some people. It might be difficult in the beginning because you're used to perhaps snacking, or like, while I'm Netflixing, I want to eat something, you know? And so these are habits. Because I'm a habit behavioral coach in terms of nutrition habits, that is one of the challenges people have, is that because their mind is not occupied, they're off work, there's no distraction, they're home, and then what? So food. And
Absolutely.
so if you talk about the sun, I guess it's subjective. It really depends on the individual. But like when I was living in the ashram, our last meal was at 6. And then we would do our meditation and whatever else at night. And so, of course, in an ideal world, if you feel you have the luxury of making sure that you can live that life, then go for it. But if you're just like, you have to work and you got your responsibilities and so on, doesn't mean that's not, if you don't do it, like your life is over. No, it's not. But I think as long as you ensure that you don't go to bed with a full tummy, that is ideal. Yeah.
Perfect.
So
That's awesome. Scientifically, mathematically, it makes sense because it's just 4 hours, and if you just minus it, just that the goal here is basically to go to bed by 10, so that your body will start repairing. The challenge with a lot of us looking at that, I call it the idiot box. Or nowadays people are having a TV
it's
as
a
a
fancy
fixture on the
idiot
wall.
box. Come on, it's a
Yes,
fancy idiot box.
exactly. Now it's fancy now. Nowadays people don't look at the TV anymore. They are all looking down, looking at their phone. Now they have gadgets, to hold the phone up so that you don't get back pain. But then again, it's keeping us awake, and there goes the entire 4 hours they might maintain, but just at 2 o'clock if you're going to sleep in the morning. So you can have your food at 10 o'clock. So it's still okay. But then again, the body needs to repair from midnight to 3 o'clock. It gets messed up. So, and then it becomes a whole spiraling down for the body and all
I
that.
think it's also because when they wake up, they feel tired. Because they are not shutting down. One of the things that I really, really focus on as well is sleep ritual. People have a morning ritual, people have an evening ritual, but they do not have a sleep ritual. It's going to bed. How do you go to bed? Like, you take an effort on to dress up to go for a wedding, dress up for a meeting, you prepare yourself, make sure you're in the best of the best so that you can be the best and give the best. Unfortunately, that's not applied with sleep. So when we talk about sleep ritual, a lot of us have a morning ritual. A lot of us have an evening ritual. But very rarely do you find somebody who actually has a proper sleep ritual. We take so much effort when we go to work, how we dress up, pack for the day, plan for this meeting. When you go for a wedding, you make the effort to dress up. You plan 1 hour ahead to say, I need to get all of these things done and deck up and go. But I don't see that kind of level of detail given to your sleep, when that is actually one of the most crucial things to keep your immunity up as well. Keep your mental health up, keep your physical health up. If you want to lose weight, I always say you gotta sleep well. There is no point if you eat all the right foods in the world and you exercise, but if you do not know how to rest properly, and there's no point. It's very, very crucial. And so people take that for granted. And when I do my coaching or when I share with the community or my fit fam, I always say you have to understand that this is a relationship. Like you have a relationship with your partner, your business partner, your mom, your dad, your siblings, whoever. If they were to be rude or ignore you or abuse you, physically abuse you, you will make the biggest hoo-ha in town and say, how dare you do this to me? But what we don't realize is that's what we are doing every single day to ourselves, because we do not understand that there is you and there is your body, even though we are one. But the only person you have till the day you die that you can rely on is yourself, right? And so if you don't know how to build that relationship, then it's going to be difficult. And that's what the pandemic has really done. It is forcing people to look in. And is that an easy thing to do? It is not. It is not fun. I would know. I didn't enjoy it. But was it worth it? Oh boy, was it worth it. It is tough work, sorting out stuff, whether it's from your childhood to your past relationships, whatever it is. And so sleep plays a very, very important role. How you go to bed, from the ambience of your room to the scent, to the sheets, to what you are visually allowing your eyes to see, to hear. Always use the five senses. I use that as a guide to say, am I on the right track with this ritual that I am setting? Because even you know this, environment. An environment can make you flourish and nourish well. So if you don't choose or set the environment in the way that allows you to be at your best, then you can't expect it to work out, if I'm being very frank. So yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Now, let's talk about nutrition and some simple hacks, because one of the thing about, people have this myth that in order to be healthy with the right kind of nutrients, it tend to be an expensive game where you have to buy the organic stuff, and, you need to go to this place and take this supplement. I think there's a better way, I know there's a better way because I have a very simple life. I use the 30 years principle, before the birth of McD's and KFC, what was being cooked, it's a simple stuff. It's actually cheap, can save, but I want to know, what is the practical way? Because I think we need to reach to the masses on how they can hack it, what are your simple life hacks about nutrition, Gaya?
So if I were to break it down, these are few things that I do every day. And this is something anybody can do. Anybody can do. You do not have to be a special person to do this. This is something I feel is best if most people apply it. The first thing I do when I wake up is I open my eyes and I say, I love you, Gaya. Good morning. So that's it. And you have no idea that you will feel like a feeling inside, because people are so disconnected. And so if you want to start your day in ensuring that you're nourishing yourself well, first accept and acknowledge yourself. That's step one. And the other thing I do is I ensure I drink a glass of lukewarm water in the morning, because our digestive system also needs to wake up. You don't want to bombard it immediately with all kinds of food. So you want to take your digestive tract very slowly. So drink a glass of lukewarm hot water as long as you can feel the water going down your trachea. Then you're on the right track, because you can feel it go all the way in. That I do till this very day. This concept of lemon water, ginger water, all these fancy waters are optional, right? And also when you have lemon, don't always drink it because it might corrode your teeth. So have a straw if you plan to go down that route. But do you need all of that? No, you don't need to. So this is as budget and effective. Just drink a glass of water, which I'm sure you have access to, and that should do the trick. Then generally, another trick that I do is I like to sunbathe. So sunbathing, although I know that you nourish yourself with your food, And of course, the food is nourished from the sun. I also believe that I want to connect directly with the sun. So whether I do my yoga practice or whatsoever, but if you're not a yoga practitioner, if you're not into any of that, but if you could just take 20 minutes, 20 to 30 minutes to just stand outside, because now that we're at home as well, we're more indoors. We're more indoors in front of our laptop, and we don't even know when day and night is. And because at least when you're working, you're forced to go out. Now you're inside, if you're in a condominium, there's very little interaction with the sun. And the sun is a natural disinfectant. It is a natural disinfectant, and it will kill the seeds of any virus if you just allow. And this virus that I'm talking about is your mind, your body as well. And so when I stand in front of the sun, I talk to the sun and I say, just cleanse me of all the bad energy, give me the strength and the source of your power to nourish me for the day, for an example. So I like to talk to the sun, to myself. When I started doing this, I started to build a relationship with my food. I give thanks that I've access to the sun, that I'm able to stand on my lawn. Perhaps not many people have that. If it's in the UK, if it's gloomy all day long, they might not even have the sun, right? And so this energy is the source. Like the sun is the source of energy, my bad. So I find that if you can take time to do that, that would be great. And then with your food, if you can keep it colorful, right? At least half your plate with vegetables. Vegetables that are not cooked in masala, that you don't taste the vegetable. You're able to taste the vegetable. You must also understand that your digestive tract is powerful, but you don't want to abuse it again. And so always introduce simple food. So the first meal that I ever have in a day, in the day, is fruits that are rich in water. That's the first thing that I do, because when it's rich in water, it's easy to go down. You're not waking up. It's like, somebody barges in your room and says, get up, we need to get this done. You're like, what? Oh my God, so many things to process at one time. But if you start this day where you drink some water, you rest, you sunbathe, and then you have some fruits that are rich in water. So like papaya, watermelon, come on, you know me, I love my watermelons. Any melons, oranges, kiwis, fruits that are tropical, like pineapple, which are not that expensive, that you can buy from your wet market, from your Chinese uncle or whoever, and just have that, a bowl of that, just to get the system going. So I find those are few tricks that you can do to set your day. But as a meal, whatever that you eat, even if you feel like, okay, today I just want to indulge and have KFC whatsoever. If you are having it, then have it wholeheartedly. Don't be like, oh man, I'm eating this. Then how it's being processed or digested will be different. So if you're having it, chew. The trick is, if you're going out and eating, and perhaps it's not in line with what you should be eating on a daily basis, once in a while, then chew. Because if you learn to eat slowly, you will find that you get fuller faster, because our window of eating is only 20 minutes. How you choose to spend the 20 minutes is your choice. You can be like a good person in front of a touch and go lane where you wait your turn, or when you find it's a long lane, you feel like, no, I'm going to go all barge in, then the process will be different. So be a good person when you're in front of the toll. Stay your lane. Don't get 3 lanes. You know how it is, 3 lanes converge into one? That's like when you are being a glutton and we're just like putting it all in, And so take your time. Give the track a moment to process what you have just inserted in. And finally, so that's food, exercise. You do stuff you like. I've had so many people say, Gaya, what workout can I do for this? I said, do what you enjoy first. Because if you don't build a relationship with fitness, a healthy relationship, it will always be a chore. How did I start? I love dancing. That's it. I may not be dancing as much today with all the things that I'm doing, but it starts from something. Once you cultivate a healthy relationship, a happy relationship with fitness, as in the physical fitness, you will find yourself eventually being more comfortable to experiment and try a form of fitness that really allows you to express yourself the best, allows to bring the best out of you. So if you could set at least 30 minutes, a couple of times a week, if you're a beginner, that is good enough. We have to look at this as a 30, 40 years, right? It's a tortoise, it's not a hare. And so if we have that concept in mind that it's long lasting, some of us might not even see results immediately. But when you do see results, the chances of it sticking is a lot higher, right? And it's just consistency. So drink enough water, work out. I actually have a 7-question checklist. Maybe I can share with the LOA team. I had put it up on my Instagram, and this is a get fit checklist that I came up with. Just 7 questions that you can ask yourself to see where in your get fit journey, whether it's your mind, your physically, your emotionally, or spiritually, are you stronger at, and which area requires you to work a little bit more. So that checklist is a good way for you to check in with yourself. And part 1 of that is gratefulness as well. If we're able to cultivate that relationship of being thankful and grateful for the things and opportunities and whatever we have around us, more stuff will open up. So I hope that kind of covered some of the tips.
That's awesome. Just to do a quick recap: lukewarm water, where you can feel it in your trachea, sunbathing, get the source of energy from the sun to nourish you, colorful vegetables, fruits or vegetables. Don't make it colorful with masala, where it's it is red, it is dark red, it is whatever,
brown.
like how the states are turning colors.
I love Indian food. Okay, I love it. I love it. But rainbow colors, rainbow colors,
yes. Mindful eating, where you need to chew. How many times do you need to chew, before swallowing? Is there a right way of chewing?
Well, studies have said 30 odd times.
Mm-hmm.
But what I would say is that you even have apps now that you can put a timer. So it's 20 minutes. So you have your plate. You have to ensure that in 20 minutes you finish the food, not in 10.
Okay.
So take breaks in between. Look at your food. Really look at it. Taste each bite. That's important. Take a breath in between each. So I would say if you are able to complete your meal in 20 minutes, that's great. So your aim is to be able to stay till 20 minutes. So chew enough. Awesome. Chew enough to this. One more thing I find, because it's the pandemic, this is a breathing technique that I've been teaching a lot for people that perhaps find themselves a little bit anxious. And I introduce, it's a very simple breathing technique. I call it the 5, 5, and 5. And so you breathe in through your nostril for the count of 5. You hold your breath for 5, and then you exhale through your nostril for 5. And it's just a way of bringing your heart rate back down and just kind of balance yourself. That's one. Or a cleansing breath. A cleansing breath is where you inhale through the nose and you do a full exhalation from your mouth. You just release. And so those two I find also helps me, because I also do get anxious. I also have days like, oh my God, like what I'm going to do, like, oh, what I'm going to eat. Like, we have those days. I'm not like some superwoman, like, I'm human. And I really show as authentic as I can online of this life of mine. And so I find breathing, and as long as you feel good about what you're eating, how you're starting your day and ending your day, will definitely allow you more space to make other changes. Don't try to make all the changes at once, and then it will be overwhelming. And so I remember in the beginning when I started this journey, I said, okay, I'm going to work on sugar. And I just worked on sugar first. I didn't say I'm going to exercise, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. And then, because I've done that and it all comes crashing down. So work on something and stick to that first. Once you have a handle on it, then you add another habit. whether it's drinking more water, whether it's eating fruits that are rich in water, whatever it is, or sunbathing, or checking in with yourself with the checklist, whatever it is, when you're ready to take on more, then you add. So yeah.
Amazing. I like that. I go by this saying, you don't have to have a disciplined life. You just need to have enough discipline until your habit kicks in, right? So, after that confidence, once you can conquer one, you can conquer many. Amazing, Gaya. I had a wonderful time. I've taken notes. I've taken notes. Okay. So amazing. I'm so thankful for you to be in this chat session. I'm sure many are going to benefit. Now, before we end, how could the audience find you? Where to find you, Gaya?
So for now, I'm running a couple of programs at the moment, but you can definitely get more details on my socials. So whether that is Get Fit with Gaya on Facebook and Instagram, or on YouTube, which is at Gayatri Pillay, my name, or you can just type Get Fit with Gaya, you'll probably be able to find me as well. So I do run a lot of online programs. I am going to be starting season 2 with hopefully, once again, due to the demand of the first national program that I launched in August, we had about 1,000 participants who virtually joined in for a weight loss mind. So the name of the program is Bukan Soal Kurus. So it's not about being thin. And so the second season of that, due to the success of the first, we're hoping to launch that in January for the first 5,000 participants. Yeah, because the first one sold out in 3 hours. So that's something Malaysians can look forward to, which is also will be funded by the government. Yes.
Lovely. We'll leave all the link, how to connect with you at the bottom. It's been amazing. Thank you so much, my dear
Thank you
friend.
so much, Siva.
Yeah, wonderful human being. Keep doing what you're doing. Touch lives. Stay happy. Let's just stay connected, and wish you a wonderful life, Gaya.
Thank you so
so
much,
much
Siva.
for being in our space. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.